Okay, so you want to own a truck stop, not a gas station. A truck stop, a small city beside an interstate where the residents arrive in 18-wheelers, stay for 40 minutes or 10 hours, buy hundreds of gallons of diesel, take a shower, eat dinner, repair a tire, park for the night, and leave before sunrise. The trucks bring the customers, the fuel brings the revenue, and somewhere near the coffee machine, the actual profit begins. Sounds simple. It is not simple. Because a truck stop can sell millions of gallons of fuel and still discover that the most valuable product on the property is an empty rectangle of asphalt at 2 in the morning. That is the first paradox. The giant diesel sign gets the attention. The parking lot controls the visit. American trucking moves more than 72% of the nation's domestic freight tonnage. Almost everything inside a supermarket, warehouse, factory, hospital, restaurant, or house has spent part of its life on a truck. Those trucks need fuel. Drivers need food, restrooms, parking, showers, repairs, laundry, internet access, and a place where nobody asks why they are eating breakfast at 11:30 at night. That demand created an enormous roadside industry. Pilot says its network includes more than 900 locations, serves roughly 1.2 million guests per day, and moves about 12 billion gallons of fuel per year. Love's operates around 670 travel stops across 42 states and employs more than 40,000 people. These are not convenience stores with larger parking lots. They are national logistics platforms disguised as places to buy beef jerky. Before you collect $1, you need land, a lot of land. A neighborhood gas station may fit on a busy corner. A modern travel center needs room for separate car and truck entrances, diesel lanes, gasoline pumps, truck parking, car parking, fuel storage, restaurants, showers, restrooms, a store, truck care bays, delivery access, drainage, lighting, signage, and turning radiuses large enough for a vehicle that refuses to participate in compact architecture. The location must be close to a major freight corridor. But close is not enough. The exit must be easy. The entrance must be obvious. The road must support heavy vehicles. The trucks must be able to enter, circulate, fuel, park, and leave without converting the parking lot into a live demonstration of geometry. A property on the wrong side of the interstate may lose customers. A difficult left turn may lose customers. A low bridge may end the business discussion immediately. Truck stop real estate is not simply about traffic count. It is about truck traffic, route patterns, hours of service rules, nearby competition, freight origins, distribution centers, weather, elevation, state fuel taxes, and the number of miles since the last clean restroom. The driver may be operating an 80,000-pound vehicle on a legal schedule. Convenience has a different meaning when missing. The entrance adds 27 miles, then you need the fuel system, underground tanks, piping, leak detection, canopies, dispensers, payment terminals, diesel exhaust fluid, emergency shutoffs, fire protection, environmental compliance, inspections, testing, maintenance. The pumps must move fuel quickly because time matters. A passenger car may buy 12 gallons. A heavy truck can buy well over 100 gallons in a single stop. A slow pump is not a small inconvenience. It is a line of commercial equipment quietly calculating lost productivity. Fuel is the first revenue layer. Truck stops buy diesel and gasoline, then sell it at a markup. The price on the sign may produce enormous revenue, but most of that money immediately belongs to the supplier, refinery, transporter, and government. The truck stop keeps only the margin after the cost of fuel, taxes, discounts, payment processing, freight contracts, and other expenses. This is why fuel revenue can look spectacular while fuel profit looks much smaller. A company can sell 12 billion gallons and still care deeply about whether you buy a sandwich. Commercial diesel pricing is also more complicated than the number on the sign. Large trucking fleets negotiate discounts. They use fuel cards. They select preferred networks. They analyze price by route. They may receive rebates based on volume. A driver sees a retail price. The fleet may see a contract. The truck stop wants the fleet because one national account can direct thousands of drivers into the network. The fleet wants the truck stop because fuel availability, parking, showers, maintenance, and national coverage reduce driver downtime. Both companies use the word partnership. Both have a spreadsheet open. Fuel cards create loyalty, data, and complexity. The system must authorize transactions, apply discounts, prevent fraud, track taxes, and report purchases by vehicle or driver. A truck stop is processing a large commercial transaction while the customer is standing outside in weather that has chosen violence. Speed matters, reliability matters. One broken payment network can stop hundreds of trucks from fueling. The second revenue layer is the convenience store. Coffee, energy drinks, water, snacks, prepared food, medicine, phone accessories, gloves, flashlights, truck supplies, cleaning products, maps for the driver who has decided satellites are a government rumor. The gross margin on store products can be much stronger than the margin on fuel. Fuel brings the truck onto the property. The store increases the value of the stop. Coffee is especially powerful. The ingredient cost is small relative to the selling price. The product is consumed repeatedly. The customer is already tired. That is not a market, that is destiny. Prepared food extends the opportunity. Pizza, burgers, chicken, breakfast sandwiches, salads, tacos, regional restaurant brands. A driver who has been on the road for hours is not comparing every restaurant in the county. They are comparing what is available before the driving clock creates a legal problem. The truck stop can operate food directly, franchise a restaurant, or lease space to another operator. Direct operation offers more control and potential margin. A lease offers rent and fewer conversations about fryer oil. The third revenue layer is showers. To an ordinary traveler, a shower inside a gas station sounds like an unusual life event. To a professional driver, it is essential infrastructure. Travel centers build private shower rooms with cleaning systems, towels, hot water, ventilation, security, and enough capacity to serve drivers around the clock. A shower may be sold directly. It may also be earned through a loyalty program after a qualifying fuel purchase. That makes the shower more than a service. It becomes a fuel incentive. The driver buys diesel, the driver earns a shower credit, the driver returns to the network because the credits are useful across many locations. The water leaves the drain, the loyalty remains. The fourth layer is truck parking. This is where the economics become very American and slightly absurd. The United States has a severe shortage of safe truck parking. Federal officials have cited estimates of roughly 11 drivers for every available space, and surveys have found that nearly all truck drivers experience difficulty finding parking. Drivers operate under federal hours of service limits. When the clock runs out, they need to stop. Not eventually, now. A full parking lot does not create more legal driving time. The shortage means drivers may spend significant time searching for a space. They may stop early to secure parking, reducing productive miles. They may park on ramps or shoulders, creating safety risks. They may reach a travel center and discover that every free space was claimed before dinner. The truck stop owns something scarce: legal rest beside the route. Many locations offer free parking because parking brings customers who buy fuel, food, showers, and supplies. Some reserve a portion of spaces for a fee. A driver can pay in advance to protect a space later that night. The asphalt has become a reservation product. Nothing says digital transformation like putting surge pricing on a painted rectangle. Paid parking creates direct revenue. It also creates tension. Drivers argue that safe parking should not become another expense. Operators argue that land, lighting, security, maintenance, snow removal, insurance, and property taxes are not free. Both are correct. The shortage turns a basic safety need into a commercial decision. A truck stop with 200 parking spaces may have more valuable overnight demand than a hotel with 200 rooms. The hotel must provide beds, bathrooms, climate control, linens, staff, and breakfast. The parking space provides pavement and the possibility that another truck will idle 6 feet away. The fifth layer is truck repair. Tires, oil changes, preventive maintenance, roadside assistance, light mechanical work, inspections, truck parts. Downtime is expensive for a driver and fleet. A truck that is not moving is not earning. That urgency makes roadside maintenance valuable. Love says its truck care and Speedco network includes more than 400 locations. The fuel stop becomes a maintenance network. The driver can refuel, eat, shower, and repair the vehicle in one place. The property is not selling 4 separate services, it is selling reduced downtime. That is the real product. The sixth layer is laundry, scales, ATMs, money services, gaming machines where legal, package pickup, mail, and other small services. A certified truck scale allows the driver to check axle weights and avoid violations. The scale occupies a small part of the property and charges for information that can prevent a very expensive problem. The driver does not purchase weight. The driver purchases confidence before the inspection station. The seventh layer is restaurants, hotels, and adjacent real estate. Large truck stops may lease pads to restaurant operators, hotels, repair businesses, or other services. A strong interstate location creates an ecosystem. The fuel station creates traffic. The hotel captures sleep. The restaurant captures time. The repair shop captures urgency. The landowner can earn from all of them. At that point, the truck stop starts to resemble an airport for vehicles that do not fly. Now let us look at loyalty programs. Professional drivers can buy thousands of dollars of fuel in a month. That makes loyalty valuable. Programs offer points, shower credits, drink rewards, discounts, reserved parking, and mobile features. The customer receives benefits. The company receives data and repeat behavior. The app may show fuel prices, parking availability, shower queues, store amenities, and mobile fueling. The driver plans the stop before reaching the exit. The travel center moves from roadside sign to operating software. The network effect becomes powerful. One location is useful. 600 locations are a system. A national fleet wants predictable access across routes. A driver wants rewards that work in several states. A travel center with a large network can negotiate major fleet relationships and supplier agreements. Scale turns the loyalty card into infrastructure, but scale also creates enormous risk. Now for the other side of the ledger. Fuel prices move. When prices rise, revenue may increase while margins become uncertain. Customers become more price sensitive. The company needs more working capital to purchase inventory. Payment card fees rise because the transaction amount is larger. A truck stop can collect more money and feel poorer. Berkshire Hathaway reported that Pilot's revenue fell by about $4.7 billion in 2025, primarily because of lower bulk fuel volumes, fuel trading activity, average fuel prices, and wholesale volumes, partly offset by higher retail fuel volume. That is the strange accounting of fuel retail. The number of gallons and the price of the gallons can move in opposite directions. Revenue is not the same as demand. Demand is not the same as margin. Then there is electricity. Lighting a giant property, cooling the store, heating water for showers, running restaurants, operating refrigeration, powering truck care bays, maintaining signs visible from another zip code. The property may be open 24 hours a day. The utility meter has excellent attendance. Water is another major expense. Showers, restrooms, restaurants, cleaning, landscaping, and truck washes consume it. Wastewater must go somewhere. Septic systems, sewer connections, grease traps, and drainage systems become major infrastructure decisions. The customer sees a clean shower, the owner sees hot water, labor, chemicals, towels, plumbing, and a drain that is chosen Sunday morning for personal growth. Labor is enormous. Cashiers, cooks, cleaners, managers, maintenance employees, truck technicians, shower attendants, security, fuel drivers, customer service. The property never sleeps. That means night shifts, weekends, holidays, overtime, turnover, and hiring problems in locations that may be far from population centers. The truck stop exists where the highway needs it. Employees may prefer living where people need them. Then there is theft and fraud. Fuel theft, cargo crime, payment card fraud, shoplifting, employee theft. Cargo trailers parked overnight may contain valuable goods. Security cameras, lighting, patrols, transaction monitoring, and access design all matter. A truck stop is a public place serving anonymous travelers carrying valuable equipment and merchandise. Trust is not assumed. It is monitored from 27 angles. Environmental risk can be catastrophic. A leaking underground tank can contaminate soil and groundwater. Cleanup may take years and cost enormous amounts of money. The land that created the business can become the liability that destroys it. Environmental compliance is not a line item the owner can postpone because diesel demand was weak this month. The ground remembers. Then there is debt. Travel centers are expensive to build. Land, tanks, paving, pumps, buildings, restaurants, parking, truck care equipment, and inventory require large amounts of capital. A successful location can generate strong cash flow. A weak location becomes a very large property selling coffee beside a loan payment. And that brings us to Flying J. Flying J grew into one of North America's major fuel and travel center companies. It owned travel plazas, fuel operations, trucking assets, pipelines, and refining interests. The company was not merely selling diesel at interstate exits, it was vertically connected to the energy business behind the diesel. Then the financial crisis arrived. Oil prices collapsed, credit markets tightened. Flying J faced a severe liquidity crisis and filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in December 2008. The travel centers were still operating. Truck drivers still needed fuel. The problem was cash. The company had obligations, inventory needs, debt, and a business exposed to volatile energy markets at the exact moment financing disappeared. This is the central danger of a fuel empire. The product is essential. The balance sheet can still run out of fuel. Flying J restructured. It sold assets. Its travel center operations were combined with Pilot, creating Pilot Flying J. The reorganization plan eventually allowed approximately $1.4 billion owed to creditors to be repaid in full. That is not a story of a bad product. It is a story of liquidity, leverage, commodity exposure, and timing. The stores had customers, the trucks were on the road, the cash structure failed first. Over time, Pilot Flying J became part of an even larger story. Berkshire Hathaway acquired control of Pilot and purchased the remaining ownership interest in January 2024. The business that began with one gas station in Virginia became part of one of America's largest conglomerates. Why would Berkshire want a travel center network? Essential demand, prime interstate real estate, national scale, fuel distribution, convenience retail, commercial relationships, and millions of customers who cannot move freight through an app. The trucks are physical, the roads are physical, the need to stop is physical. That creates a durable business. It does not create an easy one. Now consider the optimistic version. You own a clean, well-designed travel center on a major freight corridor. The exit is easy. Truck parking is abundant. Fuel lanes move quickly. The store offers strong coffee and reliable food. Showers are clean. Technicians reduce downtime. The property maintains safety and security. A major fleet agreement drives fuel volume. The loyalty program brings drivers back. Parking, food, showers, and repairs increase the value of every visit. The debt is manageable. The location becomes part of drivers' routines. You are not simply selling fuel. You are operating essential infrastructure. Now the realistic bad version. You overpay for land. Construction runs over budget. The tanks and paving consume more capital than expected. A national chain opens at the next exit. Fleet customers negotiate aggressive discounts. Fuel volume is high, margin is low. The parking lot fills, but most spaces are free. The showers need repairs. The restaurant struggles to hire. The truck care bays cannot find technicians. Payment fees rise with diesel prices. The highway project changes traffic patterns. Environmental testing finds a leak. The property sells millions of dollars of fuel and produces a surprisingly small amount of cash. The sign is bright. The balance sheet is tired. That is the truck stop trap. The largest revenue source is not always the strongest profit source. Fuel creates traffic. Food creates margin. Parking creates necessity. Showers create loyalty. Repairs create urgency. The network creates power. The owner must make all of them work at once. So does owning a truck stop actually work? Yes. America's freight system depends on places where trucks can stop. The best operators turn that unavoidable stop into several useful transactions: fuel, food, rest, maintenance, parking. The driver saves time. The fleet improves efficiency. The travel center earns from the visit. But the business is not protected simply because diesel is essential. Commodity prices move, credit disappears, traffic patterns change, competitors expand, infrastructure breaks. The company can sell fuel all day and still fail at finance. A truck stop is not really selling diesel. It is selling continuity. The driver can continue the route. The truck can continue operating. The cargo can continue moving. The fleet can continue delivering. Every service on the property exists to reduce the distance between stopping and moving again. The fuel fills the tank. The business sells the next mile.